call you the dancing doctor. Tell us more about.
Yeah. It's a thing that I started doing because when I was a little kid, I loved music and dance. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, where it's a pretty rough area of Los Angeles, where there's a lot of gang activity, police activity all night. My older brothers were in gangs in that area, and I couldn't go outside. So I decided to use music and dance as a form of trying to escaping. And back then it was VH1, and then it became MTV, and then it became BET. So all these I kind of used as a way to kind of emulate and kind of it's like a make believe. I was like pretend like I was in the videos, and I don't think I knew how to dance then, but I was just moving around.
Yeah.
uh, I had a, I had a good imagination. So and I use that as a way to escape from all the things that I've seen and heard. And a lot of my brother's friends didn't make it in their teenage years or past their teenage years, and so I use this as a way as escape. So then I one day I was doing my seeing my patients in the morning, and one of my patients that has was in and out of the hospital when he was a little kid for childhood leukemia. Then later he developed different things that caused neurosurgery to be involved. And I saw that he was starting to get depressed because he was in the hospital for quite some time. So I told myself, I said, music and dance took me away from my environment. So next time I see him, I'm just going to turn on some music, see if I can get him to dance, see what happens. And I did. I saw him the next day. I brought in a little speaker, turned on some music, and I started dancing, acting myself. And then so he got up and he started dancing too. So his mom filmed it. She put it on social media, and it kind of went on from there. And, she was crying because she haven't seen him smile and have a good time in a long time. And it was very moving. And once it went on social media, it just like kind of just went like wildfire. But it's such an easy thing to do to just connect with a patient. As I call them my little buddies, and we have a good time. We don't think about anything else but just enjoying our presence at that moment.
Yeah, to be in the now can be very difficult when they're worried about the future of,
Mhm.
what are the test results going to be, and
Right.
what if I don't make it out of the hospital this time, and just all that catastrophic thinking, which is easy to do, and can't blame them. Can't
Yeah.
blame.
Right.
Beautiful. So it was your empathy and your love for your patients that inspired you to do it the first time.
Yes.
Having
Yes.
it would just like go viral. That's interesting.
I had no idea it was going to go viral.
Course, of course. And I love the ones when you're holding the infants, the infants are just kind of looking around, they don't know what's going on, but the parents, really are enjoying that too. So kind of the secondary benefits of, and then you have some of your staff. How many of your staff get in the dance with you?
They love it. It was a point where, I was getting called to every floor. It's like, hey, you did something with the Nikki. Why didn't you come over to our? It's like, all right, I'm
Get
coming.
the doctor on
So
third, please.
yeah, exactly. And I get patients that are in the hospital. They're not my patients, and then they have the nurses page me and they ask, if you're not busy, can you come see this kid? He really likes you and want to see you. And I was like, all right, I'll come on over. So it's a lot of things that kind of go on. Trying to doing goodwill throughout the hospital is like my forte.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're definitely a goodwill ambassador.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the effects. So you're neurological, you know about brain plasticity and all that. Tell us about laughter and its impact on the physical body, on the brain, on the immune system. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so there's a chemical called endorphins. So endorphins is something that's always released by your body when you're laughing, something you look at and it makes you really feel good, and you release these endorphins and binds to this something called a mu receptor. So it binds this receptor, and once it binds a receptor, you get something called euphoria. So you feel great, you feel happy. And ironically, you have pain medications, heavy narcotics that act on these mu receptors. And people feel great when they take these pain medications. So when I am in here and having a good time, I'm having these kids and adults that look at the videos releasing all of these endorphins, and it binds to those mu receptors, and then kids are laughing and having a good time, and they're not worrying about that they just had their skull open and had some type of brain surgery. They're having a good time, and they're not having any pain. And just like when people are looking at it on social media, they're enjoying every minute because they see the kids laughing, and they're releasing endorphins too. So it's these endorphins that binds these mu receptors that cause so much euphoria that it supplements any type of narcotic medication.
Wow, it's amazing. And I would
Hmm.
imagine if I know that there's some research with this where the pain meds can actually be reduced.
Yeah, most definitely, and that's what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very cool. So I had a whole list of questions, and I'm not going to ask them all, but I would like to go back to your childhood, and because it's so inspiring to see how
Hmm.
you really it's a really a full circle, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like a
Because
dance.
when I was a little kid, I always thought, always when I went to the doctors, I always wanted somebody that kind of that looked like me, as well as made me feel comfortable. Because when I was a little kid, it was always scary going to the doctor because we always associate going to the doctor as getting some type of pain. We don't associate going to the doctor's office by we just had a good time. We talked, we laughed, they asked how well I was doing, and they just kind of rubbed me on my back and say, okay, you can come back later. You never associate any of those visits. Only visit that really stick is when you got a shot. So for kids, it's really traumatic anytime they see somebody in a white coat. So when I was a little kid, I said, I want somebody to kind of talk to me. I want somebody to, and relax with me. So when I became a provider, I was like, I'm gonna be that guy that I always wanted, and that's what I've strived myself to be, that guy that I always wanted. And looked at, when I was a little, and as I was growing up, I saw Patch Adams, and I was like, this is the guy that I want to be,
Great.
and emulate when I first started, just like how he did it. And I used to watch that video like crazy when I was a little kid. And now that I'm in a position to do it, it's the best thing since sliced bread. And I don't even know when sliced bread was invented, but it's the best thing ever. And then to see the kids that in Orange County, our population is, that coming through the hospital is Hispanic, Caucasian, Asian descent, and a little bit of African American. And then, so to see, to be a minority to take care of these kids is a blessing. I, um, you never see anybody, when I was a little kid, I never see anybody that looked like me. So to me, for me to be able to do the things I do on social media as well as in the community shows to the next little minority kid that they can do it too. And do it, and everybody around them will love them as just a regular person. And that's what, when people say, oh, you're amazing, it's like, I'm just a regular guy
Yeah,
that loves to do what I do, and I love kids. And I'll take care of your kid if they ever have to see me the way that I take care of my own kids. And that's the model that my mom has taught me, is take care of others like you want to be treated. And that's the way that I do it every day.
that's beautiful. Yeah, we spoke on the phone a few days ago, and I mentioned that um, I will be showing this video. I'll be sending the link to this video from my YouTube channel to
Hmm.
Mel Campos, who's in charge of the Boys and Girls Club of Mount Vernon, and
Hmm.
also to Henry Wilson and Donna Brown. who are
Awesome.
running the YCOP, which is our it's like the Boys and Girls Club, but in a different area of the city. Um, Mount Vernon is roughly 80% Black in
Mm-hmm.
a county that is mostly white,
Yeah.
maybe 4% Asian. So it's kind of very strange for me because I
Yeah.
grew up in Southern California. I've been to Westminster and Orange County, Irvine, like they call it UCI, the University of Chinese Immigrants. I mean, there's so many,
Wow.
such an Asian population in California and not much here. So the mix is different here, but I I'm always excited when I can help the little Black kids see someone um, who looks like them and to say you can do this too,
Right.
because there's a lot of the systemic racism, environmental racism, the microaggressions, death by a million paper cuts. I've been
Mhm.
talking with my friends, some of my Black friends, about racial relations, and we actually were live on the radio, just like freestyling conversation on race relations on live radio. That was quite an experience.
Yeah.
Talking about not being able to get good service in restaurants and things like that.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real. And if you walk into a place, you've got all the money in the world and you can afford everything, but you're treated
Mm-hmm.
like you're there to steal something. And just to help kids know that there is another future that we can create for ourselves.
Right.
And part of that is by being in the now and choosing to be happy in the now and spreading love and joy in the now, and that has ripple effects into the future to make tomorrow a better day.
Right. I agree.
That's how I see it. So that's one reason I really appreciate your service to humanity. Um, and what advice would you give if you came out to the
Hmm.
girls club and you were doing a speaking engagement? What would be, like, say, three of your main talking points?
So it'd be mostly, don't limit yourself. Don't allow anyone else to limit you, and always live your best life, doing things that you love to do, and do it with the utmost respect and courage, and never turn anything away that is going to advance you. We are so much worried about what other people are doing, or saying to us. This is your path. You can't bring anybody along with you. Nobody can walk it for you. They can coach you, but at the end of the day, this is your path, and you have to take care of your path. You have to pick the weeds, you have to sweep the floors, you have to water it down, but you have to walk this own path your by yourself, because nobody's going to do it for you, and nobody's going to help you.
And then if they say, "Wow, I don't think I can do all that by myself. I feel so alone." Uh,
Mhm.
what do you say?
You always have to be positive. You always have to think of, so we have our phones, and we can talk to Siri and ask her, how do we get to the Empire State Building? And
Mhm.
Siri will give us three, uh, and will tell us where to go. So with that being said, you know the path to where you need to go. Now you need to figure out how you're going to go. Are you going to turn down this street, or are you going to turn down a different street that has, and then you end up in traffic? So we're end up in traffic in our life. Things are going to slow us down, but we have to make sure we get to where we want to go, because it's going to be hard. Nothing is easy. It's always going to be hard, but we have to make sure we get there. We always know where we need to be. Now we know where we're at, and we just got to figure out how to get there. And just like, our friend Siri on our phone tells us how to get there, that's the same path that we need to go to get there. And that's how I got there. It was a long, long path, but I got there.
and difficult. And neuro is the most difficult specialty,
Mhm.
um, and it's constantly evolving, which makes it so
Right.
interesting. So interesting.
Exactly.
So tell us what your plans are for the next few months, years. What's your next Empire State Building?
So, you know, there's always talks of, doing TV shows, doing books. So, those things are on the burner. But, what my primary goal is to make sure I take care of my little folks that are here in the hospital and their families, as well as my family. So, those are the primary three things that I focus on. And everything else just kind of falls into place, just like the social media aspect. Making sure that I get the message of how we as individuals will prefer to be taken care of. We're not just an individual that comes into a doctor's office. We're breathing. We have feelings. We would love for people to basically, communicate with us, just like any other provider. You don't want to go into the doctor's office and just be shunned away and you go home. You want to you want to have a relationship, and with that comes, a lot of providers like to be pretty distant, and that's something that's taught to just focus on the disease and the treatment. But I'm taking it a step further as focusing on the disease, the treatment, the individual, and the family dynamics. And that comes with time. Being in public health, that helped me a lot, as well as going in a background of ethnic studies, that helped a lot because I kind of put all those things into together as far as